Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Arvind Kumar Sharma from Department of Library and Information Science, Maharani Lakshmibai, Government College of Excellence, Gwalior. Today we are going to discuss about a module, Public Library Scenario in Canada, under the paper Public Library. After reading this module, you will be able to trace the early development of public libraries in Canada, enumerate the scenario of public libraries in provinces and territories of Canada, discuss the role of library associations in the promotion of public libraries in Canada, explain the management of public libraries in the Canada, and understand the challenges before public libraries in Canada. Public libraries are the outcome of modernization. As democratic values spread across the world and democracy strengthened, people-centric developmental activities have taken precedence. As idea of equality gains ground, this has come to growing realization that equal access to information and knowledge is of crucial importance without any discrimination based on color, creed, property, or gender. Besides providing universal access to sources of knowledge, education was conceived as a continuous process, not limited to the span of formal education. Earlier, formal education was limited to the formative age of people, and it catered only to privileged sections of society. As learning was accepted as a continuous and never-ending process, so public libraries were constructed as the place for learning and development. Canada being an advanced nation and society, state and local authorities there paid due attention for establishing and funding libraries. Before the advent of information communication technology era, the public libraries were the main source of getting all types of information. Early developments in Canada. In Canada, the beginning of the public library system can be traced as back as to 1779, when Governor Frederick Hildimand established a library in Quebec City. This library was the first subscription library. This Hildimand's library was merged with the Literary and Historical Society of Quebec. Some small libraries associated with religious institutions, rich and powerful families were there by that time. But the concept of general public libraries had not taken place. The concept of free public libraries came into existence later, and membership were given without consideration of class or religion. In Canada, the first such public library was founded in 1796 in Montreal. Many libraries were established in 1800 like at King's College, Nova Scotia, and Niagara. Canada is thinly populated by diverse people across the vast spread of the country. Its provinces and territories have distinct demographic, cultural, and economic characteristics. The development of public libraries has been slow as a result of the vast spread and diversity of the country. Provincial and territorial public libraries. A scenario. Public libraries of Canada's 10 provinces and 3 territories are governed by a Library Act. Main funding sources are provincial governments, territorial governments, and municipalities. Some municipalities levy a special library tax. Most of the libraries are having library boards. Board members may comprise of representatives of government, volunteers, etc. Library boards are responsible for library planning, whereas routine works are carried out by library staff. Their public library services are provided free of cost to the community members. The types of public libraries. There are various types of libraries working in Canada, such as public libraries, municipal libraries, library systems, regional libraries, community libraries, and local libraries. In Canada, each province and territory has a specific public library structure, funding pattern, governance system. Most of the public libraries are governed by respective Provincial Public Library Act or Territorial Public Library Act. Provinces and territories in Canada. There are 10 provinces and 3 territories in Canada, namely provinces British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, Labrador. And territories are Yukon Territory, Northwest Territories, and Nunavut. British Columbia. In this province, the Library Act has 6 parts: introductory provisions, municipal libraries, regional library districts, public library associations, general and transitional provisions. British Columbia Library Act has 5 types of libraries, namely municipal libraries, regional libraries, districts, public libraries associations, integrated public library systems, and federated public library systems. The provincial government provides per capita grants to the public library systems as per municipal contribution. The grant depends on municipal contribution. Each local library has its own website and provides information about its collection and services. In 2004, a program was launched with the slogan Libraries Without Walls, the world within your reach. For implementation this goal, an additional $12 million investment was made. The program incorporated broadband access to each community, access to online journals, established a one-card system to province-wide, and a virtual reference desk. In 1891, first library was established in British Columbia. Now there are 243 public libraries in British Columbia and 16 million items are available in these public libraries. Alberta. Alberta Public Libraries Act was passed in March 15, 1907. This act celebrated 100 years in March 2007. Under this act, libraries may charge annual fee from users. There are municipal libraries, community libraries, library systems, and federations. Library boards receive community development grants and flat grants. The government of Alberta provides grant to municipal and library system boards. Alberta Municipal Affairs allocated 31 million dollars to help the provincial public library network in 2013 and 14. According to Directory of Alberta Public Libraries, July 2013, there are 7 library system boards and 225 municipal and intermunicipal library boards. These boards operate 317 public library service points in the province. Saskatchewan. In Saskatchewan, public libraries are established and controlled by the Public Library Acts and Libraries Cooperation Act. There are local libraries, regional library systems, the Northern Library System. There is a provision for a provincial funding pool. Public libraries receive funding from levies paid by municipalities and grants from the provincial government. There are 10 public library systems. All these 10 public library systems and the provincial library system are the members of SILS consortium, Saskatchewan Information and Libraries Services Consortium. It provides a platform to collaborate on joint projects and purchase in the provinces. Manitoba. The Public Library Act provides a legal framework for libraries in the Manitoba province. The public library services ensure that all Manitobans should have access to the public library services. There are municipal libraries, regional libraries, and federations. There is a provision of matching provincial per capita grants. Ontario. Ontario Public Libraries Act provides a legal framework to ensure free and equitable access to public libraries in Ontario province. There are public libraries, union libraries, and country libraries. There are provisions for provincial operating grants, municipal grants, and First Nation library grants. Public Library Act empowers the municipalities to establish public library boards. Public libraries are governed by these public library boards. In 1983, Ontario's first free public library was established in the cities of Toronto and Guelph. Over 5 million Ontarians, means nearly 40% of population, hold a public library card. It is notable that between 1903 and 1922, 111 Ontarian libraries were established with the financial help of American businessman and philanthropist Andrew Carnegie. Toronto Public Library. This public library is the largest public library system in Canada and was opened at Toronto Ontario in Canada. City Alderman John Hallam was the person who campaigned for this library. James Bain was the first chief librarian who took initiative to collect a wide collection of Canadian history, culture, and literature books. Carnegie Grant helped in building construction. More than 18.5 million people visit this library every year. It has 98 branches with 11 million items. Quebec. There is no legislation in this province. There is no public library boards and trustees. Major libraries of Quebec provinces are Bibliothèque de Laval, Grande Bibliothèque, Grande Bibliothèque de Québec, Institut Canadien de Québec, Montreal Public Libraries Network. New Brunswick. New Brunswick Public Libraries Act regulates the library activities in province. There is provision of 70% provincial funding and 30% municipal funding. Public library services are regulated by New Brunswick Public Library Act. New Brunswick Public Library Service (NBPLS) is responsible for management and public library services in New Brunswick. NBPLS has a provincial office and 5 regional offices. NBPLS provides various services with the help of 63 public libraries and 3 book mobiles. Prince Edward Island. In Prince Edward Island province, the effective public library services are established under the authority of Public Library Act. There are public libraries and district libraries in this province. Nova Scotia. An attempt has been made by Father James J. Tompkins to establish public library services in Nova Scotia province. Libraries Act 1937 was a milestone in the history of public library system in Nova Scotia. There are municipal libraries and regional library systems. There is a provision of provincial and municipal funding. Regional library boards look after the library services and responsible for making rules and regulations for public library. Since 1996, all branch library provides internet access to the public. Newfoundland. Under the Public Library Act, the Provincial Information and Library Resources Board is responsible for the services of all public libraries in Newfoundland and Labrador. There is a provision of provincial funding. There is a network of 96 public libraries. These libraries are administered through 4 divisions, namely Western Newfoundland and Labrador Division, Central Division, Eastern Division, and Provincial Resource Division. There are local libraries and regional libraries. Free public library access to internet under the Community Access Program (CAP) and Library Net was made available in all 96 public libraries by 1999. Territory libraries. There are 3 territories in Canada, namely Yukon Territory, Northwest Territories, Nunavut. Most of the public libraries are governed by Territory Public Library Acts. Yukon Territory. Yukon Public Libraries are units of the Department of Community Services of the Government of Yukon. Yukon Territory Public Libraries Act 1987 and Regulations 1988 discuss the powers and duties of community library boards. There is a central library in White Shores, Whitehorse, and 14 community branches which fulfill the informational needs of the Yukoners. There is a provision of per capita provincial funding. Northwest Territories (NWT). Northwest Territories Library Act 2009 provides a legal framework to the rights of the library users and the powers of library authorities. Territorial and municipal governments jointly provide funding to public library system in Northwest Territories. Northwest Territories Public Library Services are a unit of education, operations, and development under the Department of Education, Culture, and Employment. In 2010, there were 15 public libraries. There are community libraries, virtual libraries, Yellowknife public libraries. Nunavut Northwest Territories. Northwest Territories Public Library Services is a unit of education operations and development under the Department of Education, Culture and Employment, Government of Northwest Territories, and under the direction of the territorial librarian provide public library services to the all residents of Northwest Territories. There is a provision of territorial government funding and community contribution. Nunavut. Nunavut is the largest and newest territory in Canada. It was separated from Canada in 1999. Nunavut Public Library Services (NPLS) serves the community of territory of Nunavut. NPLS receives funding from Department of Culture, Language, Elders and Youth (CLEY). It also receives funding for projects from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, a Community Access Program, ABC Canada Literacy Foundation, etc. There are 11 communities libraries which serve the people of Nunavut territory. Library associations and public libraries. There are several public library associations in Canada which work for the development of public libraries. Associations promote activities of public libraries and enactment of laws for the ensuring a legal foundation for libraries. Now we will discuss a Canadian Library Association (CLA). Canadian Library Association (CLA) was founded in 1946 and incorporated under the Companies Act on November 26, 1947. It is a not-for-profit, voluntary and national organization for library community in Canada. Association is governed by an elected council and board of directors. It promotes library activities in Canada, seek for public support for the development of libraries. The mission of CLA champion library values and value of libraries, influence public policies impacting libraries, inspire and support member learning, and collaborate to strengthen the library community. CLA has 5 divisions: CACUL, Canadian Association of College and University Libraries; CASL, Canadian Association for School Libraries; CAPL, Canadian Association of Public Libraries; CASLIS, Canadian Association of Special Libraries and Information Services; CLTA, Canadian Library Trustees Association. Apart from these divisions, CLA also has various interest groups. There are now 19 such interest groups working in the various fields to interact on common issues. It organizes conferences, seminars, workshops, and webinars to connect professionals for sharing their views. Canadian Association of Public Libraries (CAPL). Canadian Association of Public Libraries (CAPL) was founded in June 1972. A division of Canadian Library Association, CAPL has various committees such as CAPL Nominating Committee, CAPL Broadart Outstanding Public Library Service Award Committee, the Bursary Committee, Continuing Education Committee, Public Libraries Building Capacity Committee, Communications Committee. CAPL works through these committees. CAPL gives various awards such as CAPL Broadart Outstanding Public Library Service Award, Book of the Year for Children Award, and Emilie France Howard Gibbon Illustrators Award. CAPL has some notable publications to its credit. These are Careers in Public Libraries, CAPL Electronic List, Information Service Training and Evaluation Kit, Getting Connected to the Information Highway Kit, Dividends, The Value of Public Libraries in Canada. CLA and CAPL endorse UNESCO Public Library Manifesto. National Library of Canada was established in 1953 by an Act of Parliament and located at Ottawa. Later in 2004, it was merged with the National Archives of Canada and renamed as Library and Archives Canada. It preserves and makes accessible the documentary heritage of Canada. The library has a vast collection of items, including archival records of Government of Canada and private archives. The collection includes over 20 million books, over 71,000 hours films, over 2.5 million drawing maps and plans, uh, about 3.18 million megabytes of information in electronic format, over 21.3 million photographs, and many more. Facilities and services of Library and Archives Canada provides reference services, online services such as blog, podcast, the Twitter, social network services, YouTube, RSS feeds, etc. Now, Library and Archives Canada is facing the challenge of budget cuts. Various associations and organizations are campaigning against reducing budgetary allocations. Now we will discuss the challenges before public libraries. The public library system in Canada faces a number of challenges such as need for changing fee for library cards, paucity of funds, low population density, non-availability of internet in remote and rural areas. Let us conclude the module. In this module, the present scenario of public libraries in Canada has been discussed. In a nutshell, public libraries in Canada have special features. Distinct provincial and territorial public library scenarios have also been discussed. Some core issues have also been taken up. Public libraries are the backbone of democratic values. Public libraries are the institutions which protect and enrich democratic processes in society. Public libraries today face challenges from different corners such as reduced funding, changes in taste of population, impact of information communication technology, socio-economic condition, etc. in Canada. Thank you.